Kevin's mom's going to come for me. Okay, so I feel like what a difference 5 years makes, right? Post-pandemic, here we are coming up on that anniversary in March, and I feel like the Cuomo name became a household name in particular as a result of that time. But the fall was pretty dramatic and related, well, let's just call them Me Too allegations, right? Sexual harassment. So is it really fertile ground for him to return? What's the opening he sees?
Right, so I mean, it's like, which version of Andrew Cuomo do people remember? Is it the Cuomo that during the pandemic, when everyone was in chaos and the White House was providing a lot of mixed messaging, to put it delicately, Andrew Cuomo provided a lot of, shall we say, reassurance with his daily press conferences that were flooded the zone across the entire country to air here on CNN, other major networks? Or do they remember the one that fell in disgrace with the various allegations of sexual harassment, with various questions about how he handled particulars of the pandemic when it comes to nursing homes?
I feel like New York is where the vibe shift happened on Me Too, like post Al Franken stepping down, the backlash from Democratic donors, et cetera, to Kirsten Gillibrand, who called for him to step down. Like, if there was ever a sort of little corner of Democratic politics that started to be like, is that a big deal? Maybe we're getting rid of good guys. Like, it's New York.
Yeah, and on top of that, I think it's worth noting that, look, New York has seen, and this is kind of why I think Cuomo sees an opening, there's a lot of chaos just in the political sphere because of what's going on with Eric Adams. So to have a reassuring, familiar face that can dominate and run roughshod over the, I don't want to say second-tier candidates, but second-tier candidates that are less of a recognizable name.
A lot of people jumped in. Let me play for you a clip of Eric Adams. He's obviously mired in this scandal for the idea that charges were dropped against him, basically because he told the Trump administration he'd play ball on their immigration rules. Here's his reaction to facing Cuomo in New York's June Democratic primary.
I don't know who said it, but it's a famous quote, come one, come all. We all got to come out. We can't hide in the shadows. We had to come out and give our real positions. And so I'm looking forward to it. This is campaign season.
It is campaign season.
I mean, that to me, that's, I'm showing that I'm fine. Yeah, I spoke to Hakeem Jeffries. And part of it is that, so Hakeem Jeffries, top Democrat in the House, represents part of Brooklyn. He told me that people might be interested in hearing from Andrew Cuomo. And when I asked if it would be good for New York, that's kind of what he pivoted to. He wouldn't say one way or the other. He was basically riding the fence. Part of this is, I think he sees in his own backyard in Brooklyn, as well as in Queens, the potential for Cuomo to take up some of the votes that may be shifting away from Eric Adams, which would be those black voters in those constituencies.
Yeah, which is a very 90s vibe, the kind of law and order black Democrat. I feel like we're seeing that return robustly in New York.
Right, and so if he can siphon off a fair percentage of those in a primary that is a wide field, and on top of that, there is the component of this being a ranked choice voting sort of situation where people can give their second and third tier options. That could, if you have a big name that everyone knows and he has name ID that's across the board, that could benefit him in the end. Now, there are other complicating factors. Could the council speaker get in, Adrienne Adams, who might also appeal to the same black
voters know that we may not know out here, but may have some real appeal? Perhaps.
And the question is, does her name ID resonate quite as far? And quite frankly, the answer is no from the get-go.
Okay. All right. Well, hold on, Frey. We'll see. Okay.